right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the June 12th, 2025 Board of Governors meeting. I will call the meeting to order. Just as a reminder, when it's your turn to speak, or if you do have a question, please make sure you turn your mic on at your table. And then first up, we're going to move up an item from Academic Affairs Committee to talk about emeritus status approval and recommendation. So Governor Morgan.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. And we have an exciting announcement from the Academic Affairs. Academic Affairs has moved to recommend Ms. Lorinda Hackett and Dr. Chad Stebbins for emeritus status. And I believe we need a full board vote on that. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if anyone, if I could entertain a motion from someone to grant the emeritus status to Ms. Lorinda Hackett and Dr. Chad Stebbins.
I move that Ms. Hackett and Dr. Stebbins be awarded emeritus status for Missouri State University.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
No, Missouri Southern State University. I will give it to both.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And I believe is Ms. Hackett there today?
Yes.
Yes, Governor Haley, Governor Morgan. At this time, we would like to introduce Dr. Susan Craig, who is going to say a few words about Ms. Hackett.
So good afternoon, everyone. A few weeks ago, Dr. Lemons reached out to me and asked if I would offer a few words about Lorinda and her emeritus professor recognition, and I am very honored to do this. So Lorinda was with Missouri Southern for 24 years. In that time, she was the teacher education and certification officer, an associate professor, our department chair, and our dean, as well as the interim provost. She led our department, our college, and our academic affairs unit through some very interesting times, most notably the COVID-19 pandemic and all the challenges that brought. So I have known and worked with Lorinda for about 15 years, which is just a fraction of the entirety of her career. I might be able to speak fairly well to the last 15 years, but Lorinda has a rich professional history that predates MSSU, and I think it's important to include this in the comments. So you may not know this, but Lorinda started her career in public education teaching social sciences and coaching in South Nottoway, which is a small school district in Northwest Missouri. She then taught and coached in Savannah, Missouri and Pittsburgh, Kansas for 15 years before coming to Southern. To recognize how impactful a person has been, you really need to hear from people who knew her and worked with her at various times in her career. I was able to connect with several students Lorinda taught and coached early in her career, and I want to start by telling you what they said about her. I will then offer some comments from some of her MSSU colleagues. I think you will start to see some themes emerge as I tell these stories. So this is student one. Lorinda, or as I knew her during my time at South Nottoway, Ms. Hackett, was both my social studies teacher and basketball coach from 1981 to 1984. South Nottoway is a small school with a long-standing tradition of educational excellence, and despite the size of our classes, my graduating class had just 18 students. Lorinda's influence was immeasurable. In the classroom, Lorinda had an extraordinary ability to bring history to life. Her teaching went beyond textbooks, incorporating hands-on activities and dynamic discussions that made history both engaging and meaningful. Before being in her classroom, I never imagined history could be so fascinating, and she changed my perspective entirely. On the basketball court, Lorinda's impact was just as significant. Although I was not a standout athlete, standing at just 5'4" with limited dribbling skills, Lorinda recognized and valued my work ethic. She taught me that determination and dedication were just as important as natural ability. She not only helped me build on my strengths, but also fostered a sense of joy and camaraderie in our team. Student 2. Lorinda was one of my favorite teachers in high school, and I still think of her often. I was a girls basketball manager during my senior year. I had a her 2 classes, history and psychology. I intentionally took those classes because she was such a great teacher who truly believed in her students and what she was teaching. She enjoyed what she did, and you could tell. While I did learn from her, the one thing that stands out most about being in her classroom and working with her was comfort. I was an awkward, incredibly shy student, and she knew that, accepted it, and helped me to come out of my shell. Being basketball manager my senior year was one of my fondest memories of high school, and it's something I would not have done for anyone other than Lorinda. I knew nothing about being a basketball manager. She patiently taught me how to use the clock and keep stats. Lorinda believed in me, and because of that, I began to believe in myself. Lorinda is a large reason why I became a teacher. How I treat my profession and my students is modeled off her and the excellent example she is. Student 3. As with every good coach, she was competitive. She ran well-organized practices while consistently communicating what skills or techniques we were working to improve. She never yelled at us or spoke negatively to us as players. One time I missed the bus that was leaving for a basketball game. Of course, this is in the pre-cell phone time. My mom drove me and we caught up with the bus in Fort Scott. The only thing she said to me was, "Glad you could join us." Then she benched me for the first quarter of the game. After that, she always emphasized the lead time for the bus in a playful way. So I now want to turn and share some comments from some of Lorinda's MSSU colleagues. Again, look for these patterns. MSSU colleague 1. I've always appreciated Lorinda's dedication to education and her constant vocal support. I always knew she was in my corner and she was going to do whatever she could to give me the tools and support to help me prepare new teachers. She is one of the kindest, smartest, and most detail-oriented mentors and bosses I've ever had. I feel like I've learned from one of the greats. Colleague number 2. I've always appreciated that from day one when I started, it was clear that she was here to support each one of us. I always felt like she struck a great balance of allowing me to work through the learning curve of adjusting to higher ed, while also encouraging and supporting me to take on new responsibilities. I could have easily flamed out when coming here, but she would never have set me up for failure. I think of the times I've been in meetings or just informal conversations with people from other departments, and they would talk about Lorinda with such respect for all the roles that she has played on campus. And finally, colleague. Lorinda is great at investing in the growth and development of others to reach their full potential. She created a sense of unity and understanding for those around her, as well as a shared sense of purpose. Most importantly, she encouraged us to think big, and she always encouraged our ambitious ideas. So it is clear that Lorinda deserves this recognition because of the tremendous service that she has provided the university, stepping up to lead at times and at various levels when there was so much uncertainty. But most importantly, this recognition solidifies what those who work with her already know. Working with Lorinda made you better, whether it's in the classroom or the conference room or on the basketball court, because she sets high expectations and then supports you as you meet them. Even those who have little confidence, experience, or talent could expect her support if they were willing to put in the work. She's a gifted leader. She is thoughtful, motivational, steady, and kind. She is our champion. Congratulations, Lorinda, on this well-deserved honor.
Could you please come forward? Congratulations. Very well deserved.
Lorinda's entourage, if you wish to remain for the rest of the board, you are certainly allowed, or you may.
She did bring an entourage. Okay. Thank you for that. Next up on the agenda is approval of the March 14th and the April 15th special board meeting minutes. I'm not opposed to taking one motion for both sets of minutes. I'll give you an opportunity to do so.
I move the previous minutes be approved.
Governor Rosenberg, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Governor Hendricks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you. Next up is the report section of the meeting. And first up is the report of the president, Dr. Dean Van Galen.
Thank you, Governor Haley. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to tell you a little bit about some activities going on in the summer at our university. This summer, more than 100 students and faculty are participating in enriching study abroad programs across the globe, including in Italy, Turkey, France, Germany, Austria, Scotland, Scandinavia, and China. Closer to home, earlier this week, we hosted 164 middle school students on campus as part of the Summer to Jobs, Science to Jobs Summer Academy. And I can tell you the organizers of that, who I saw at the end of the day, had a very long day. But it was great to have so many students on our campus to learn about hands-on experiences in medical simulation labs, entomology, radiology, nursing, kinesiology, and they also visited the Mobile Science to Jobs Science Immersion Trailer. Meanwhile, as a reminder that the academic year is not too far off, our Southern Welcome sessions begin this month as we host incoming students and their families on campus to provide them with information, complete enrollment if needed, and make connections that reinforce that they have made a great decision to come to Missouri Southern. It's also a season of construction on our campus, including very visible progress on the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center. This transformational project continues on schedule and within budget, with a planned opening in summer of 2026, just in time to welcome students for the fall 2026 semester. And as a reminder, in that building, there will be very few offices or classrooms. It is primarily a hands-on learning, immersive learning space. On the east, two-level side of the building, we'll have the new Welcome Center and will also be the home for admissions, as well as a new coffee shop. And the students seem to be most excited about the coffee shop. This will indeed provide a new front door to our campus. In my written report to the board, I provided highlights of the regular 2025 session of the Missouri State Legislature and issues we are tracking at both the state and federal levels. Later this month, we will learn of the core funding increase for public higher education. As a reminder, the governor's original proposal was for a 1.5% increase, while the legislature has proposed a 3% increase. Also on the governor's desk is legislation now approved by the House and Senate that would expand our university's statewide mission, a distinction we have sought to formalize for almost 2 years. We are also hopeful for the governor's support of continued funding of the Science to Jobs program through the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. On our campus, this funding has enabled us to conduct the summer camps I mentioned earlier, and most recently enabled us to launch the Missouri Center for 3D Printing in Precision Health that is described in my report. On pages 3 and 4 of the Board of Governors written report, I've included some points of pride from this past year and also looked ahead to outline some progress that we look forward to in the coming year. As you review these lists, I think it's important to realize that so many of these initiatives are ultimately focused on providing outstanding and unique educational opportunities for our students. Many highlight partnerships that extend beyond our campus, examples of people and organizations working together. All of these accomplishments and our aspirations are a result of great people, especially our staff and our faculty, doing important work here at MSSU. Missouri Southern is a strong university because of its people who believe in the educational mission of this university. Speaking of people, to close my remarks, on behalf of the university, I want to thank Executive Vice President Brad Hodson for his 10 years of service to Missouri Southern. His leadership has been important in advancing the university in many areas over those 10 years. This includes fundraising and the Lions Forward campaign, progress in addressing important facilities issues on our campus, as well as his work with the Missouri Southern Foundation. Brad, we appreciate the many positive impacts that you have had on our university, the service you have provided, and we wish you the very best in your next role of leading Southeast Missouri State University. Thank you.
Any questions for Dr. Van Galen? Okay. Well, Dr. Hodson, I would echo that. I appreciate your time here at the university. Thank you for always moving us forward, especially in the Lions Forward campaign. But I'd be remiss to say, once a Lion, always a Lion.
Yes, sir. So, yes. I'm
And-
proud 1991 graduate, yes.
And Dr. Hodson, I remember when I first joined the board, you hadn't been here very long, or just with the year following, and you did the project of gathering all the donor addresses for everyone for over 30 years, and you had the students involved, and you were digging through files in the basement. That now we have a good address list for many years to come. So I know that was quite a project to overtake, and we appreciate all the hard work you did on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So with that, next up is the report of Executive Vice President, Dr. Brad Hodson.
What a great introduction. Thank you for hitting the button. Just a couple of highlights from the written report in your binder. Dr. Van Galen talked about the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center, again on schedule and within budget. What's really exciting now with the brick and the glass going in, you can get a sense of what the building will look like. I hear a lot of comments in the community about how attractive it is and what a great front door it will be, and so it's fun to be at that stage of construction. I will note in my report in that last paragraph on the Roy Blunt Center, they have moved up the completion date to June 6th, mainly because they had some luck in acquiring and preparing to install the elevators. That helped with the timeline. Now, who's to say what might happen to move that back the other direction, but today we're at June 6th of 2026, so that's exciting. On the second page, Leggett and Platt Athletic Center, certainly we are a little ahead of schedule on the demolition of the bleachers. The completion date is estimated at March of 2026 for that $3.2 million Phase 1 project. And then I did want to note, last year, your investment in the Leggett and Platt roof has come to fruition. That is completed. It was done in May of 25, just about a year after the storm that damaged it. And then you have a list of the projects that we'll be working on over the summer. Most notably, the HVAC system in the Fine Arts Building, which has been a persistent problem with the instruments and the materials that are part of that building, and that's being addressed. But you can see at the bottom that those projects, excluding the Health Science Innovation Center, total almost $5 million of work this summer, and so that's a great investment in our facilities. And then finally, we are just on the cusp of hitting the $40 million mark in the Lions Forward campaign as we end the third full year of that. 2 years left, and the overall goal is $42.7 million. And so we're in a great position to successfully complete that, if not in the coming fiscal year, soon thereafter. Be happy to answer questions.
Questions for Dr. Hodson? Okay, hearing none. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Next up, report from the Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Lisa Thomas.
Good afternoon. The 2025 MSSU Student Research Symposium was held in late April and included 49 entries with 63 students participating. There were some who worked together, that collaborated on research projects. Undergraduate, graduate, and dual credit students participated in 7 categories, with a new category for graduate students. Additionally, 5 MSSU honors students had the opportunity to present their research at the Great Plains Honors Conference held at the University of North Texas in March of 25. Our students presented work in biomedical sciences, English literary studies, and history. The Law Enforcement Academy graduated 22 students in May. You guys know that is a 1-semester program, certificate program. Chad Adams, the LEA director, commented that this was the best class he had ever seen, and they had a 100% pass rate on their post-exam. That is about 3 years in a row that they've had 100% pass rates on their post-exam. Radiologic Technology also had a 100% first-time pass rate for their students who graduated in May. They were also granted maintenance of accreditation for an additional 8 years and were given permission to increase their cohort size to 19, which they have received the applications and granted admission to 19 for this fall. Dental Hygiene had a 100% pass rate for their clinical boards, and we are waiting on the results of the written exams. And they have accepted 30 students for the fall cohort and are at capacity. The Bachelor of Science in Nursing graduated 23 students in May who are preparing for the NCLEX exam and who had the highest HESI exam scores since the beginning of the program. So the HESI is something of it's not internal, it's a nationalized test, but it's kind of a practice test for the NCLEX. And that was every single student met their required benchmarks and had the highest scores ever. There are 23 students set to begin their final year in the program and 23 that have been admitted for the fall. The BSN program is working with 21 qualified pre-nursing students who will apply for the spring 2026 cohort, which will begin this coming January for the first time. And we anticipate that we'll have more applicants once the application goes live. And so the 21 that we're working with are those who have actually applied for the fall cohort but really aren't quite ready yet. And so they are being considered for the spring cohort. And then we will have transfer students probably that will fill out the rest of that cohort. We have been given permission to have both the fall and the spring cohort beginning this year. Finally, I'd like to report that we were able to recruit and deploy 5 graduate assistants in the spring semester. I believe that it's the first time that we've had both academic and athletic graduate assistants on the Missouri Southern campus. The programs that utilized these students were Sport and Recreation Management, Healthcare Administration, the MBA, the Master of Science in Data Analytics, and Athletics had 1 graduate assistant as well. That concludes my report.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Thomas? I would just add that excellent academic success this year from all of our programs, so good job there. Next up is a report from our Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer, Ms. Linda Ice.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will start with that we will be adopting the fiscal year budget for 2026 later in this meeting, but I want to take a moment to thank everyone for their hard work on this. It takes everyone across campus working very hard, looking at expenditures or thinking outside the box for new revenue streams. We all pull together to develop and work on the budget and find the successes and the things that we get to do for investments across campus. It is currently audit season. This is the time of year that we are very aware that we are halfway through the month of June and we have about 2 weeks until we're at the end of the fiscal year. The auditors will be on campus here in about 2 weeks. They start with the student financial aid. They look at compliance. They will also look at the federal compliance, significant dollars obviously coming through from the state on the ARPA funding for the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center. And so there's a lot of processes and procedures that they will have to review as part of that audit. But we are very good at documentation and making sure that we are crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. We also have a new GASB standard that has to be implemented this year. It seems like they roll one out almost every year. This one is on compensated absences, and we have already collaborated. It's taken human resources, financial services, and IT working together to pull that data and to be able to make that entry for the FY25 audit year. So you'll see that coming through as we work through the audit this year. In my report, I also mentioned the Missouri Southern Leadership Academy, and it was very exciting in April. We had the graduation for 9 of our colleagues, and I wanted to give a shout out to those colleagues because they do take time to invest in going to the academy here on campus, and it is hosted by our Human Resources Department. They are the one that pull all of this together and plan all the sessions and the speakers. And so our colleagues that attended that this year was Miss Leona Belk, Kara Dixon, Stephanie Goad, Julie Christensen, Chris Mitchell, Amanda Curtis, Brenda Forrester, Melissa Forsyth, and Abby Bishop. And we just really appreciate the fact that they took the time to pursue those leadership academies and their commitment to the university and to our students. And the comments that they said is they really appreciated the opportunity to collaborate with people across campus and to be able to expand their network of connections, and understanding that there are all types of leadership styles. It is not one size fits all. And another mentioned servant leadership. So I think it was a very positive opportunity for them to be able to attend that academy and have some fellowship with other colleagues across campus. We'll move on to the financial statements for the period of May 31, 2025. We always start with the cash graph, and the cash balance, unrestricted cash balance at this time is $22.8 million. This is an increase of about $150,000 over the prior year. The assets total $206 million. We have liabilities of $132 million. Net assets are at $74 million. We next look at the comparative statement of revenue, expenses, and changes in net position. We always look at the difference column, and that's the difference cumulative from July till now between the current year and the prior year. And operating revenue reflects an increase of $616,000. Operating expense shows an increase of $5.5 million. And I thought it was kind of important to identify a few of those increases. Some of that obviously is from compensation, the investments that we made in FY25. Along with compensation, obviously comes fringe benefits, is also an added increased expense. Contract services, we had a change in our food contract. We've had some additional success with international students, and we work with recruitment agents for some of those international students. And then obviously through contract services, the Mobile subcontract grant payments also are in that balance. On the supplies and materials, again, the food contract, the way that we've done that had an impact on that. And so the contract services and supplies and materials almost offset each other almost identically. Scholarships, we had a $2 million increase over the prior year. Big piece of that was Pell. We have $1 million more in Pell. Access was up, and we've talked about the new initiatives that we had on the transfer and international scholarships, and we're seeing success there. Non-operating revenues was a $1.4 million increase. Income before other revenues in the current year does show a decrease of $2.7 million. The prior year had an increase of about $900,000. Between the 2 years has a decrease of $3.6 million. And then other revenue increase is $17.5 million, with $15 million of that is the funding that is coming from the state for the Health Science Innovation Center. I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Ice? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the financials.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial statement as presented.
Governor Plotnick, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Governor Hendricks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Financial statements are approved. Thank you, Linda. Next up is our report from Associate Vice President of Admissions and Enrollment, Dr. Shelley Hewitt.
Thank you, Governor Haley. I will start off with an enrollment update. So summer enrollment this year is up overall with headcount and credit hours. Some of that is due to new student enrollment. Another factor of increased enrollment this summer is based on a change in our resident life policy requiring students to enroll in a minimum of 2 credit hours if you're living in resident housing over the summer. At present, we do see a positive enrollment trend for fall. However, there are some factors that we are watching that we do anticipate could adversely affect enrollment for the fall. And some of those factors do include a decrease in freshman applications in a couple of our territories, a decrease in international applications, that is degree seeking, and a pause in visa appointments. We are also seeing some positive trends that we do hope will continue. Graduate enrollment for the fall, new and continuing, is steady, and transfer enrollment at this time is solid. Moving on to campus visits, an update on that. So this summer is very busy on campus. It was an exciting time to have more than 500 Joplin High School freshmen visit campus this May. Next week we will be hosting 300 4th and 5th graders, and then the following week Missouri Southern will host Joplin middle schoolers 2 days of that week. Let me just say that we love the opportunity to have the younger students on our campus and to share with them all the cool things that Missouri Southern has, because at an early age, we believe the earlier that we can talk to these students about college, it's easier for us to counter some of the negative perceptions that exist out there about the value of education. We're also enhancing our weekly campus tours and our Lion Pride Visit Days. Some of those improvements include student panels, gamifying how we share the academic programs and information that we offer, and our tour stops, providing additional communications prior to each event, extra stops inside buildings, and much, much more. We're also working on providing more of a concierge style type of visit, which is all about enhancing the experience and specializing in customer service from the time the prospective student and their guests arrive on campus. So we recently hired a new campus visit coordinator, and last summer she went and did the Disney internship, and during that internship she learned all about customer service experience and what it's like to be in that type of environment, and we are going to capitalize on that and bring some of that to our campus visit daily tours as well as our events. And so we're going to start working on that as soon as possible, and then once we're able to get into that new building and utilize that as the entrance to the campus, it's going to be even better. So we're very, very excited about that. And then finally, I want to give you some updates on URM. So Abby Morris and the URM team have increased their efforts to partner with admissions and other areas across campus to help with enrollment initiatives. So in my report, you saw several of the campaigns currently underway to boost fall enrollment. These campaigns are mainly digital in nature and focus on data lists provided from admissions. The goal is to concentrate on those students who have shown interest in Missouri Southern but haven't enrolled yet or completed their application. But through the analytics that Abby's been tracking, what we see in these tactics, they're working for transfer students and parents that they are engaging with the ads. We also believe the investment made in graduate marketing has proven to be successful and have played a part in the reason why our new graduate enrollment is thriving. Also in the works are initiatives with Residence Life to increase their occupancy, and international recruitment is working with URM on strategies to focus on community colleges right here in the United States. And we will continue to partner with the academic side of the house to promote current and new programs, and we'll also continue on promoting scholarships and campus life. That concludes my report, and I am happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions for Dr. Hewitt? I do have one. The new campus tour coordinator.
Yes?
Will she wear lion ears instead of Mickey ears?
She might wear something.
Okay. Well, good. Little lion ears would be, good little perk to see. Thank you for your report. Next up is report from our Director of Athletics, Mr. Rob Mallory.
Thank you, Governor Haley. I'll start by highlighting a continued success of our student athletes in the classroom. This spring, our student athletes collectively earned a 3.199, I'm going to call it a 3.2 GPA, up from a 3.07 last year. That was really driven by 154 student athletes who earned a 3.5 GPA or better for the term, 75 of which recorded a perfect 4.0. So would also like to mention two teams in particular that had some great competitive success this spring. The women's golf program qualified for the NCAA Central Region Tournament for the first time in program history. That program was started in 2018. And they finished 6th overall out of 18 qualifying teams in that event. Lily Ullman was the top individual. She placed 11th. Lily was also named for the second consecutive year the MIAA A-Game Scholar, which is an award given to the student athlete with the highest cumulative GPA competing at the MIAA championship event. Lily graduated with a 4.0. The softball team finished their season 39-19 and made a run to the Central Regional Final for the first time since 1998. A great season all around, highlighted by some strong individual performances. Kiki Pickens, Katie Gray, and Bailey Dillon were all named first team All MIAA. Kiki was the MIAA Pitcher of the Year, and Bailey the MIAA Freshman of the Year, and both will return next year to compete on the softball field. And then lastly, just mention that on May 5th, one of my favorite events of the year, we hosted our annual Student Athlete Awards banquet, and you can see in the written report award winners from that event. So that concludes my report. I would be happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Questions for Mr. Mallory? I do have one question. Outstanding graduate for 2025?
Alyssa Jerome, women's track and field student athlete.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that was in the report.
Sure.
Thank you for that. Okay. Next up on the report is Faculty Senate President Dr. Nicole Schorf.
Schoaf.
I will
you,
get that
Governor.
better next time.
I will be brief this month. Since the Faculty Senate has mostly, since your last meeting, been wrapping up projects. The Faculty Senate did not start a bunch of new stuff in the wind down of the academic year. The Welfare Committee completed 3 large projects, which are summarized in the written report, and managed to wrap up the semester by selecting a full leadership slate for the upcoming semester and making plans for the fall. But I am happy to answer any questions that you may have about their activities.
Any questions? How frequently do you guys meet?
We meet monthly, the first Monday of every month.
All right. Well, welcome to the committee.
Thank you.
Hearing no questions, we will move on to the next report from our Staff Senate President, Ms. Leona Bell.
Thank you, Governor Haley. So mine is also pretty brief as we are wrapping up our year, June being the last month for the Staff Senate cycle, and this is, as mentioned earlier, my last meeting with you all. We did do first quarter Service Champ Awards, as I've highlighted in the written report. I'm proud to say that Melinda Bricker from IT, Sergio Roman, who's a mechanical maintenance worker, and then Crystal Robinson from Testing Services were all awarded the Service Champ for first quarter, showing their 5 attributes of the lion paw in all their daily work, which is respect to the campus community, a positive attitude, pride in their work, exemplary dependability, and excellence in customer service. And I included some snippets of the nominations as they came through for you all to read. And then last, Staff Senate has chosen to take on the Campus Cleanup Program, which was actually the program that Leadership Academy came up with for this year. And so we've passed that to Staff Senate Community Service, and so throughout the year we will be working with our colleagues on campus to make sure that it's clean and beautiful and ready for everyone who comes to visit. So you can see highlighted in my report some pictures. We purchased some litter pickup kits that we have in the library for employees to check out. Students can also check them out if they want to be a part of it. And then you'll see some pictures we did on Earth Day for the first kind of kickoff of that. So Staff Senate's excited to keep that going. And then, not in my report, but I would like to formally introduce Dr. Stephanie Goad, who's out in the audience. She will be replacing me in this role starting at the next meeting.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Bell? Thank you for your service to Staff Senate, and
Thank you.
you can come back anytime. All right, next up is our student governor, Mr. Maddox Stutter.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It has been a momentous end to the spring semester. In May, we celebrated the 84th commencement, honoring the hard work and accomplishments MSSU students have achieved. For many first-generation and international students, this is a deeply emotional and rewarding milestone. Thank you to the administration and faculty for making the day memorable for all students. May and June so far have also brought intense storms, including tornadic threats. Students are grateful for the quick and clear emergency communication protocols MSSU has demonstrated during these events. One student says, "Tornadoes have always been a worry, and adapting to these threats is challenging." Many students, especially those from out of state or overseas, experience understandable fear and anxiety when alerted about the incoming weather. I've spoken to student leaders who are working to support these students and discussing the importance of emergency weather preparedness. As the intense weather begins to relax, we transition into our summer season. Our student community is excited for the deserved summer break. Many students are transitioning to their first careers, internships, athletic camps, or summer classes. Students have the option to attend summer classes in person or online this season. Campus remains vibrant with student events for those who stay in town or new students. And these student events help maintain a campus community year-round. And on the note of study abroad, some students are also being prepared for another international trip to Hangzhou, China in July to Zizou, a beautiful campus I visited in November. On behalf of the students who are attending, I believe I can say students are grateful for opportunities like this. The cross-cultural communication is something that cannot be overstated. And it's even better when given an opportunity like this in college. This transformative experience not only expands students' worldviews, but also their interest in an international career. I strongly believe that this short immersion trip like this one leaves a positive impact on students and plays a vital role in modern education. As we look forward to the fall, we're eager to begin another semester full of opportunity and energy across campus. Whether it's new classes or a new environment, MSSU students will be ready for the academic challenges that may come. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Stutter? Thank you, sir, for your report. Next up is board committees. First committee is the Personnel and Compensation that was chaired by Vice Chair Governor Marion Morgan.
Good afternoon, everybody. We met this morning in the Personnel and Compensation Committee. We went into closed session for Dr. Van Galen's annual review.
Okay. I'm assuming that concludes your report on personnel and compensation?
That concludes my report for today.
Okay.
Oh, we will go into an executive session after the general board meeting. I should add that.
Thank you. And I know you're pulling double duty, so I'm going to roll right into Academic Affairs Committee report.
Yes, Academic Affairs met this morning. We were pleased to hear some very positive updates from Dr. Toms about academic programs at Missouri Southern. Dr. Toms also presented the Title III quarterly report. Another agenda item that we had was a core values revision. I believe you may have that in your materials.
Yes.
And the board recommended that that core values revision be adopted. I do need a motion from the board as a whole to approve the core values revision.
I'll make the motion to approve the core values revision as approved in committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion to approve the core values revision carries. We had another item on our agenda this morning for promotion and tenure, and I do believe that you have a list of the faculty members that are addressed in the promotion and tenure recommendation. The board did recommend that the promotion and tenure of these faculty members be approved, and I need a motion from the general board to approve the promotion and tenure of the listed faculty members.
Move those lists be approved.
Governor Morgan, before we vote on those, can you read those names into the record for us, please?
I would like to ask for some assistance with this. I had a little technical problem with my attachment that does list the members. I don't know if Dr. Toms has that available or if another board member might have that available.
Dr. Toms can assist.
All right, thank you. Recommended for tenure, Dr. Hassan Butt, Dr. Lucas Dilley, Dr. Hannah Dow, Dr. Tanya Haven, and Dr. Jody Jensen. Recommended for promotion to full professor, Dr. Diana Allen, Dr. Amila Abuhami, Dr. Megan Bever, Dr. Melissa Locker, and Dr. Jason Willand. Recommended for promotion to associate professor, Dr. Michael Bifus, Dr. Lucas Dilley, Dr. Sarah Holtzen, and Dr. Zachary Rice.
Thank you, Dr. Toms. Do we need to rephrase the motion to state that the faculty members, as read into the record, the board recommended that those be approved?
Is that your motion?
I don't believe, I would like to entertain such a motion.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion for promotion and tenure as recommended by the board passes. I believe that concludes my report for today. We also recommended the emeritus status for the two faculty members that was already discussed today.
Okay. Well, thank you for your report, Governor Morgan.
Thank you.
Next up is a report from our Budget and Audit Committee, which is chaired by Vice Chair Governor Rod Hendricks.
Thank you, Governor Haley. At our meeting this morning, we decided to bring forward to the board discussion from our meeting was women's flag football. And it would be a club sport in FY26 and then possibly a varsity sport in FY27. Ask Dr. Mallory or Mr. Rob Mallory to talk to that.
Sure. The proposal was to, as stated, launch a women's flag football program here at Missouri Southern. We would start that as a club sport next academic year, and then transition that to a varsity sport in the 26-27 academic year for competition in the spring of 2027. Women's flag football is a rapidly growing sport that in January will be voted on as an emerging sport for women in the NCAA.
Any discussion further on that? You want to take a motion or me to? You can. You can entertain a motion that we introduce women's flag football at MSSU.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, sir. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Our next item of discussion this morning was the FY26 tuition rates. And we can go through those. Linda, if you'd like to speak to those, feel free.
Certainly. So we discussed at the committee meeting that we do have a tuition and fees work group that puts in a lot of time taking a look at what our fee structure looks like, our credit hours, what our competition is doing, what would serve our students well. And we try and keep all of that in mind when that group is pulling together the tuition rates for the upcoming year.
So I entertain a motion to approve the tuition rates which were established.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have our new tuition rates. Next item was our budget for FY26. And the administration to adopt a revenue budget of $80 million for FY26. Linda, you want to speak to that any further?
At the committee meeting, obviously, we talked about the different things that are comprised within that budget. We always take a lot of information in on that on both the revenue side, which obviously tuition and fees is a piece of that we just discussed. For clarification, just to have on the record, the in-state, the undergraduate in-state tuition rate will be $300 per credit hour. That is a 3.45% increase on that particular tuition rate. We take a look at that. Obviously, state appropriations, currently right now, we have 1.5% that is in the budget. And then on the expense side of the house, as with every industry, costs are going up just in general across the board. And so we take all of that into account to arrive at the FY26 budget that we are getting ready to adopt.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to approve the FY26 budget.
So moved.
Motion made.
Second.
Motion seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Budget is approved. Another item that we had this morning was our FY26 large infrastructure project, authorizing the administration up to $1.8 million in reserve funds for the renovation of the lower level of the Diane May Student Life Center. Is there any discussion on that further? Entertain motion for the infrastructure project.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Governor Hinders, I'd like to thank everybody for the tour today of the facility and the hard work put together to consider the financing for that and what the bidding process will be. It was good to see the facilities and the things that need to be done to improve that for students.
It's always good for us to be able to get out and see and know what we're talking about when we see it. It's good. I think that's all for our budget on it.
Compensation.
Yes, I'm sorry, I skipped that one. There was also a discussion about bringing to the board an authorized increase in compensation for the year. Do I have a motion to approve the compensation package?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I believe that wraps up the budget.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for your report. Any old business to come before the board? Hearing none, takes us to new business. This is our meeting where we elect annual board officers. First up, is any nominations for chair?
I nominate Carlos Haley for chair.
I'll second that nomination. I make a motion nomination cease.
Do I have a second?
I will second that. I will second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, I think. Next up is officer of vice chair of the board.
I would nominate Dr. Benjamin Rosenberg.
I'll second that motion. I'll bring a motion to that nomination cease.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Dr. Rosenberg. Next, position of treasurer.
Go ahead, who's in?
Make motion for Linda Ice for our treasurer.
I second that.
Motion nomination cease.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
And last but not least, position of board secretary. Any nominations?
I'll nominate Ms. Jeannie Nice for our secretary.
I'll second that. I'll make that nomination cease.
I'll second.
Perfect. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great job, Jeannie.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Any other new business? Yes.
I failed in my presentation to introduce to you Dr. Terry Johnson. He is going to be acting as our interim dean of the College of Business Communication and Technology until such time as we find a replacement.
Okay.
The search committee has been appointed and they're working on that.
Perfect. Mr. Dr. Johnson, welcome. And thank you for your service, and you're always welcome here. In your package, you can see future meeting dates. Please note those on your calendars. Next meeting is September 12th. We do have reason to go into executive closed session pertaining to RSMO 610.021, sections 1 and 3. I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Move we go into closed session.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Ablachnik. Here. Rosenberg.
Present.
Haley.
Yes.
Hendricks.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all for your time. We are now moving to closed session.